Hello and welcome to another episode. Today we're going to go over the flags of states 21 through 25 and see what we find out about them, what we can kind of glean from the flags themselves and the history I was able to dig up on the state. With that said, let's begin. The first state I want to go to, which was the 21st state of the United States, is Illinois. So, on Illinois, um, its capital is Springfield, and it's known as the Prairie State. And in December of 1818, it became the 21st state. I have my handy notes here, so it became the 21st state, and it's one of the more populous states in the U.S. with the city of Chicago. Um, its native populations included the Illini, or the Illinois Confederation, the Potawatomi, the Miami, and the Sauk or Sauk. I'm unsure. If I do butcher the names, I apologize. And the French claimed Illinois first with forts and settlements, but the territory was ceded to Britain after the 7 Years' War, or the French and Indian War. Anyway, now, the flag. The flag has a white background. Um, on the front of it, it is an eagle standing atop a rock on a field or a beach in front of the ocean. Because in the background, you see water and you see the sun setting, but in the foreground, the eagle is atop a rock on the ground. It has branches underneath a United States shield. Um, on the shield is 13 stars representing the original 13 colonies. And the eagle holds in its mouth a banner that says State Sovereignty, National Union. So recognizing the freedom of the state, but recognizing it as part of the United States. And of course, at the bottom, you have the name of the state, Illinois. So, and that is the state of Illinois. Now, let's see here. The next one I want to go to is the state of Alabama. Its capital is in Montgomery and is known as the Yellowhammer State. Um, and it became the 22nd state in the United States in December of 1819. So, that's when it kind of entered the Union. The natives that lived in Alabama before European occupation were the Cherokee, the Alabama, the Chickasaw, the Choctaw, the Creek, and the Koasati. Again, to the native tribes, I do apologize if I butcher the names, even though I know some of these are Europeanized, because I believe the Cherokee call themselves the Salagi, or some form of that. I have a book on Cherokee language, so. But even on that form, I feel bad if I do butcher the name. Um, Alabama was a French and Spanish territory, but the French ceded their portion after the 7 Years' War, or French and Indian War, whichever you know it better as. And the Spanish portion was ceded under the Adams-Onís Treaty of 1819. And as I said, in December of 1819, it became a state. So, at the end of that year, it was a full-on state. Now, the flag of Alabama. Pretty simple. It's a white flag with a red cross on it. That's it. The flag of Alabama. Now, we move on to the state of Maine. And at this point, we know that Vermont and New Hampshire and New York and much of the Northeast have been formed. Well, here's the state of Maine to kind of complete that section of the country. It's a blue flag, and on the front you have a star that's shining, and under it has a banner that says Dirigo or Dirijo. I'm unsure. Um, but yeah. On the bottom of it, it has a banner that says Maine, and then in the middle you have two men on each side holding the implements of farming and sailing. And in the middle you have, it looks like some kind of wildlife under a pine tree, which leads us to Maine's name, the Pine Tree State. Its capital is in Augusta, and it became a state in March of 1820. In the area, you had natives that included the Pusamaquoddy, Maliseet, Penobscot, the Androscoggin, and the Kennebec. And again, I'm sorry, I do apologize if I have butchered your names. The first European contact with Maine is believed to be the Scandinavians around 1200 Common Era CE, which is essentially AD, Anno Domini, but it's called Common Era if you want it to be a very non-religious timeline. But yeah, about 1200, and they traded with the natives, but it was the Scandinavians. And in Wikipedia, they wanted to say Norwegians, but I just said Scandinavians, just so I don't butcher it if it is a combination of Norway and Sweden and Finland, because I don't know exactly which one is older, which one is younger. So my apologies to the Scandinavian nations. But I do know at that point you had Greenland, um, Iceland, Newfoundland. So essentially, they were on the upper coast, the Scandinavians were. And they did visit Maine around 1200, well before Columbus, by about 300 years. Um, let's see. I've already described the flag. And so this takes us to the state of Missouri. And its capital is in Jefferson City. And it is known as the Show Me State. Now, there we go. Missouri became a state in August of 1821. In case I didn't say it, Jefferson City was its capital. I couldn't remember. Um, with the giant arch in St. Louis, Missouri has been seen as the gateway to the West because it's often used as a starting point or a gathering point to travel westward in the 1800s. Of course, the arch wasn't built till later to kind of celebrate this, but St. Louis was often used as the setting off city. So, just so you know. Now, it was part of the Louisiana Purchase, so it's kind of in that streak of land there. Now, let's talk about the flag. In the background, you have red, white, and blue as three stripes across the flag. On top of that, you have a ring of blue with 24 states, kind of symbolizing um, how many states they were at that point. Inside that, you have an interesting little picture going on. At the top, you have a strip of blue with 24 stars and one that's bigger than the others at the bottom, of course, representing the state of Missouri. You have the green leaves next to a helmet at the top of some kind of seal there. On each side of the seal are bears. On the seal it says, "United we stand, divided we fall." And it has three parts in it. It has the United States seal, well, what's become kind of famous, known as the United States seal, with the eagle and the shield on it. Let's see, I believe it's on the back of the $1 bill. I'm trying to remember. I know it was back on the back of the quarter for some time, but yeah. And then the other two parts is the moon at a quarter moon in blue on a blue background, and on a red background a bear. Below that is a banner that says "Salus Populi Suprema Lex Esto," which from Latin roughly translate the welfare or the health of the people should be the supreme law of the land. So, We have that. Now, I'm not sure of the date, the MDCCCXX. I would assume something like 1820, even though Missouri was introduced in 1821. So you kind of wonder about that. Um, but there is the state of Missouri. Now, we are going to go to our last flag. Flag number 25, Arkansas. So a little about Arkansas. Its capital is Little Rock, and it's known as the natural state, although formerly it was known as the bear state. You know, bear like roar, not bear like ah. So, the bear state, but now it's the natural state. It became the 25th state in June of 1836. So after Missouri became a state in 1821, it took 15 more years before another state. So in 1836, Arkansas. Natives of the Arkansas area include the Caddo, the Osage or Osage, and the Quapaw. And once again, to the native peoples, I do apologize for the butchering of the names if I didn't pronounce them correctly. Now, an interesting fact of Arkansas. The conquistador Hernando de Soto was the first known European in Arkansas in 1541. But it would get the best of him as he would soon fall ill and die in Arkansas. So, Hernando de Soto did not last long in the natural state. Now, as far as the flag goes, it's a red flag, and in the middle, you have a diamond with a blue border in which you have 25 stars, representing, of course, the 25 that is Arkansas. And inside this border, you have a white diamond that says the state, Arkansas, and one star at the top and three at the bottom, which I don't know the significance of. But again, just like any other thing, if you are curious, let me know and I will look it up. But that is the state of Arkansas, and that takes us to the halfway point. We've hit 25 states. And with that said, we'll explore more as we go, but I've got to set up next week's schedule. I'll probably start off talking about Fallout 76 since the Bethesda E3 conference is on Sunday. So we'll see if we get any new information on Fallout 76. But anyways, like always, please, please educate thyself. Read, study, learn. Try a new language. Jefferson knew multiple languages. He was vastly multilingual, self-studying. and is one of our greatest founding fathers. So always educate thyself, especially in an age of false information like we are dealing with today. Educate thyself. I will have the sources listed in the description. But anyway, thank you for watching the video. I appreciate it. I really do. You have a good rest of your day, morning, night, and I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.